with Patrick and Carrie Antrim. Live today in Multifamily.
Good morning, everybody. This is fun. I'm actually have water in here. I wanted to get coffee in here. I wonder why.
Well, I don't know.
I think it's too early for coffee.
I don't know if
water.
coffee is the best idea, because if it spills, then, we're in trouble.
We are in Arizona, so you do have to stay hydrated.
That's
Welcome
right.
to another show of Live Today in Multifamily. I'm joined here with my wife and co-founder of Multifamily Women, Carrie Antrim. I'm Patrick Antrim. Good morning to you. Listen, today is a great day to get involved. We're developing more and more momentum as the show builds interest.
Right.
We have some people that came into the studio, some viewers, some exciting stuff. We, again, are live in Scottsdale, Arizona. And wherever you are, chime in. We want to hear where you're calling in from, where you're viewing. Hashtag Multifamily Live and get involved. Want to hear from you guys. So.
Yeah, I think we already have... Looks like we've got Georgia in the house. We have Virginia.
Yeah, and so we're live on live.multifamilystudios.com. That's our live show page. But we are also broadcasting live across the webs, if that be on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. You can find us there. So join the conversation in the comments. You can hit replay. If you don't watch it live, we'll get back to you on some stuff too. So some people are getting featured in the show.
That's right. That's right. I do want to mention I've mentioned this before, but if you go to live.multifamilystudios.com, if you scroll down to the bottom, it says submit news. And what that means is we want your good news. We have a segment on the show that we do occasionally, where we highlight what you guys are doing great. We want to know what's happening in your organizations, what's happening with your people, awards, promotions, whatever it is you got going on, let us know. Submit that good news and you could be featured on the show. Yeah,
and so many brands that are looking to get attention, highlight, attract the right people. We need to tell a story about where we are, where we're going, and who can be involved in that journey. And so there's never been a better time to create a platform like this. We're bringing all the communities together, if that be investors, on-site people, you have innovation, you have prop tech conversations that are coming through this channel. And so we want to think about what can create value for you and then feature you in that process. So if you've got some great things that you're doing, that creating fun stuff, and we'll feature some of that stuff today.
Yeah.
All right. So I would like to just kind of open up. Now, you this morning, or let's see, was it Tuesday? I can't remember what day it was.
Monday or Tuesday morning, yeah.
So Carrie was driving. Actually, you had already dropped the kids off, I think.
No, they were in the car.
Oh, they were
in
in the
back
car?
seat.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we were on our way to school.
So we've been doing so much personal development and growth, just seeking out, what's next in the world, right? And we've been on this journey just to kind of always level up our game.
Yeah.
And what's funny is, well, it's not funny, but recently I paid attention to what you had shared in the car, and I thought it was really interesting and inspiring, so I thought we could talk about it today on the show.
Sure.
So you want to kind of open it up with the scenario?
Yeah, absolutely. So like we said, I was just driving kids to school like I do Monday through Friday, and pulled up to an intersection, and I think the nose of my car, is that what you call it?
Well, you had the chance to go, to blow the yellow, like you could have went.
The light was yellow, but it's a very busy intersection in our city, and so I don't ever take those chances. I don't ever even consider that. Especially at this intersection. So the light was yellow. I could have gone, probably would have been fine, but I decided to stop. And when I stopped, the front bumper of my car was like, I don't know, 6 inches into the crosswalk.
Yeah.
And, there were people here waiting to cross, dog walkers and joggers and all that good stuff. They're right next to this awesome park. And so my nose was kind of in the crosswalk. And there was a lady who was walking her dog, and she was waiting patiently for the crosswalk to say it was her turn to go. So when that happened, she crossed, but she had to go slightly out of her way to get around the front of my car. And when she did so, she turned to me and looked at me directly in the car and was saying some words. I don't know exactly what she was saying.
With the kids in the car.
With my kids in the back seat. And so, and the kids saw it, and Mommy, what is she saying? And I said,
Yeah.
well, I don't know what she's saying, but I took that opportunity to let them know that, sometimes people do those things. We need to be filled with so much going on.
Growth, like even what we were talking, like you were
Right.
sharing to me, like in flow state, right? Like I was like, wow, that was really cool. We need to write that down. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
You're talking about like, really the smaller.
Not sweating the small things, like
Right.
like having to go
If
6
that's your
inches.
problem in
right.
life.
You need some bigger things going on,
Yeah.
and my 8-year-old is just recently doing Little League, so I'm like,
Yes.
Sawyer, you need to be thinking about baseball and your next move and how
Right.
to catch that pop fly and how to hold the bat. And,
Right.
and Nora right now wants to be a singer, songwriter. She's
Yes.
got big dreams. Nora, you need to be writing songs and doing all these things. Like if you're worried about having to move 6 inches out of your way, you got to have bigger goals.
Right. Yes, that's good. I love that. And because in the apartment industry, we're creating new opportunities for people. We're introducing new products that creates tension, frustration, change of business. And then you just take the fact that we're serving residents in their homes, and not always does that go well.
Right.
And so it's sometimes those challenges are coming at us. It's in our workplace.
Right.
So it's good to if you're leading a company or leading a business unit or even on site, like have that growth mindset. Like think big about, hey, you might be frustrated dealing with resident challenges, but the reality is you might have 10 or 15 challenges that day, but you might be at a property that has 500 community or 500 units.
Right.
A lot of things might be going right that day. It just doesn't feel that way emotionally, right?
Right.
And then, but think of it like you're on a journey. This is just where you are now. And if you have this big mindset, this big focus, maybe someday you're going to own a building like that,
Right.
and this is the sort of the research and development of how you would do it differently
Yeah.
and build communities, because later on the show, we've got a multifamily investor live in the studio with us today, and he's done some great things in building communities himself. So I'm really excited to explore some of those things. So definitely you've got to think big.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Stephanie says life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. And
yeah.
I believe that 100%.
I need to write that down and keep that on
yeah, especially for our kids too, as they're
yeah.
growing and learning and,
Yeah.
and growing up in these times with
Absolutely.
everything going on.
So more fun stuff happening in the studio. We had a commercial real estate broker come in. Basically, we're helping brands with video tell great stories so they can attract the ideal client, right?
That's right.
And really showcase, here's a broker in town that's doing really interesting things. And everybody should know that, right?
Yeah.
And then also it gives him the opportunity to scale his brand, but also get his time back.
Yeah.
You can have one meeting on video and do some really fun things. So, and then so who came in? We had some visitors this week.
Yeah, yesterday we had Lacey and
Yeah.
Berkeley come in.
Yeah, they came
and visit
in.
us.
There's
they're-
a shot of
yeah.
us there.
Yeah, they came into our
yeah.
studio and
That was fun.
we had a great conversation.
Boy, she's on the move. I know that exciting things now. Houston, and she was talking about Kate Good and all
Right.
the things that Kate was doing as a developer.
Yes.
Fun stuff, and also what was the gal's name?
Berkeley.
Berkeley. I was saying Brittany.
Yeah.
So Berkeley is, and we'll be featuring some of her work later on. Modular design.
We had a really great conversation, really
Yeah.
interesting topic.
Even some of this seems like technology, but you're talking about something that could potentially solve affordable housing.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a much bigger picture
Yeah.
to that. So that was really great to have them come in the studio and hang out with us for a little while. And what I took away from that is I think we need to take a trip to Houston.
I know.
Sounds like
I know. Well, we do have
there's
a
a
lot
lot
of friends in Houston.
happening,
For sure.
yeah.
So Houston, if you're watching, say hello.
Yeah.
Again, thanks for commenting on the channels. Coming up, again, we have live in the studio Tanner Bickelhop. He is the CEO and founder of Tanbic Company, and you know what? He's also the co-founder of Stellar Residential. Now they are doing some really cool things. In fact, on our studios platform, you can see One East Camelback.
Yes.
We take them on a journey. 2 episodes on that. We had the first one when they did the glass breaking, and then we had the second episode back at our Innovation Summit where we went through the building, and it was raining, and it was a fun experience.
great.
But definitely get excited to spend time with Tanner, pick his brain, because a lot's changed since the last time
Yes.
we've talked to him. So.
Yes.
All right. So what else is exciting? So our developments. Don't reveal it, but we are working on. Well, I'll talk.
You talk about it.
Okay, because you're going to get excited.
I tend to spill the beans.
Okay. We're going to hold you on edge for this, but I would say within 30 days, we are working on something that we think is going to change the game in terms of how we connect and engage with people. So this is going to be an exciting development.
Yes.
A lot of time and energy going into this, but we're paying attention to where things are going with content.
Yep.
Look, everything that we're doing is where everything is going. And so we want to take you on that journey with us. So exciting things happening. I cannot wait to do that.
Yes.
And the women's group was a big part of that.
Yes.
And I'll tease a little bit
Right.
about how to connect better, a little bit how to mentor better, and develop those relationships that can level up your game, if that's getting a new client, getting a new investor, or perhaps just getting to the next level in your company.
And since you mentioned the women's Facebook group, I'm going to take that moment to just plug it here. If you are not a member of our Facebook group on our Multifamily Women Facebook group, please head over there, join it. We've had how many?
Almost 3,700.
Almost 3,700 people join that group within the last 10 months or so.
If you think about that, you know, the National Apartment Association has their largest event in, this year I think it's in Boston, this year coming up. Apartmentalize, and exciting things happening at that event. But beyond that, if you think of like the 11,000 people that attend that, I mean, we have almost half of that in just the women's group, and it's really exciting stuff happening. So definitely want to join that. You can also go to multifamilywomen.com and hit the More tab, and you can join the free leadership series.
Yes.
When you hit the More tab, a link will come up, Women in Leadership series, and there you can get access to the group and also all the great articles that we're writing for people that are doing great things. Again, just shouting from the rooftops all the things that you guys are doing well.
Yes.
Now, I heard Pinnacle made some news this week.
They did. They did. This is exciting. So, Cushman and Wakefield announced on Wednesday that they've entered into a definitive agreement to acquire Pinnacle Property Management. And Pinnacle is the third largest multifamily property management firm in the United States.
That's kind of a big deal. Now, this deal is not done, I understand. It hasn't closed, but this is definitely an agreement to do this. Exciting news. Obviously, well, Rick Graff, current president of Pinnacle, CEO, he'll stay in place and lead the America's multifamily property management for Cushman & Wakefield. So he's done some great things with that company. You know, he's even impacted, our team, right? Our producer has even met Rick and was just so inspired. So when we were bringing him into our world of multifamily, he had a good reference point.
That's right.
Good leader that actually cares about people.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, I wanted to talk briefly about the Women's Summit. We've announced our speakers. If you haven't seen them, head over to multifamilywomen.com. You can read all about them. The Women's Summit is coming up March 18th and 19th. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the shows that we have planned. So we have...
now, what's a show? Because you just said show.
I know, and I've wondered if I should explain that.
Is it like they need movie tickets? Or?
No, you don't, but... That's a good idea. Maybe we should do movie tickets. So we do things a little differently at our summits. And instead of having a panel, as you would typically think about it, we call it a show because that's what it is. We have a show host. Right, it's like
Ellen. She doesn't have a panelist.
Right, she has a show guest.
That guest is made to feel amazing and showcase.
And it's more conversational so that we can actually extract their wisdom. We have asked them to join us for a reason. And so our show host, Jessica, will be able to extract that wisdom and that knowledge on stage.
Yeah.
So we call it a show. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the shows that we have coming up. I love this one. Giving a Damn is good for you and your business. Success tips from those who actually give a damn.
So who are those that give a damn? Because isn't that we're highlighting a lot of the people that have created healthy organizations, the best places to work multifamily, but we researched those that went through the program because the only way to get on that list is through that program.
Right.
And for women. These are the people that give a damn.
Right, right.
So.
Yeah, we have Stacy Stemmen in that show. We have Diane Bataya and Jana Frazier, 3 amazing women who all give a damn.
Yes.
They have a wealth of experience and knowledge, and they're going to bring that to our stage. I'm excited for that one. We also have women's influence at the executive level and how to engage your teams. This one is going to be awesome. It's with Dana Cottle of the Bainbridge Companies and Michelle Fisher of FPI. So I can't wait for that one.
That is going to be a powerful session.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, what Michelle has done in Southern California is pretty special. I mean, this is another top company with a lot of scale, a lot of people, a lot of properties in multiple places, both Class A, the full range, from tax credit, affordable housing, all that stuff, and has been able to, at the executive level, still keep culture and, you know, giving a damn sort of stuff, right? Like in place. Like you can also be big, but you can also keep it, you know, family owned. And they've got, what is it, the Heart-Centered Leadership?
Yes, they do have that acronym, I believe.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah. And then we also have shifting customer expectations and how work will change. And I just can't stress enough how important this topic is. We've got Keisha Fisher with Graystar, Jamie Dalferis with Lincoln.
Yes.
And they're going to crush the stage. I mean, this is such an important topic because it's everywhere, how work is going to change. I mean. Yes,
both of them are rock stars. Jamie, I know on the phone, just sharing her vision. You know, she's got so much experience outside the industry too, and you can just tell by the certifications and designations that she's been on a journey to, that she's bringing to a company at that scale. It's going to be great to watch.
Right, and Keisha's on the global technology team for Graystar. It's going to be a great show. I'm super excited.
A great show. We should get tickets. You're right.
I know.
Do you have tickets?
Have you gotten your tickets
to the show? It's already doubled in attendance from last year,
That's
you know, it's expected to go even more. So let's definitely.
It's going to be a great time. You know, we always keep an element of surprise in everything we do, so we have some really fun things planned. I would really like to meet you and see you there.
Awesome. Well, that's a good call to action.
Yeah.
All right. All right, so let's bring up our next segment, which is Buzz on Biz. Now, Multifamily Biz is the multifamily industry's largest media site, actually serving 1.7 million monthly viewers. And what we do is we look at what's happening on Biz, your press releases, what are the exciting things that you're talking about, if that be transactions, people, technology, innovation. We're going to feature those shows. And here, we have, you know, this landmark, American Landmark Properties or Apartments launched an innovative artist in residence program. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So basically,
Tell me about that.
What they're doing is they essentially go out and they seek this artist, right, to create spaces in the property, but also they're granted a residency, right? So it's a very innovative way, I think, of, now a lot of people think innovation, you got to buy a tech and plug something in or a smart home, which is all great.
Yes.
But here's a company doing innovation, which means making something better, by doing something differently and thinking about really building that community. And so I want to anchor that home later when we talk to
That's really
Tanner.
cool.
So here's what the cool thing is. The grant recipients basically will be responsible for implementing on-site programs, art classes, things like that for the residents. So here you are trying to get people to rent or buy and that whole conversation, and it just seems like some way to differentiate yourself from the competition.
I love that. It says also children's art classes, which I think is huge because, you know, that's been in the news for years now, how the arts are getting cut in our schools and stuff.
Yeah.
So what a great way to bring it back to the community.
I was telling my son, we were out buying baseball gear for Sawyer, and he was, you know, consuming Snapchat, and it was like a picture of his forehead or something. I don't remember what it was. He's probably watching, and so that's fine. At school, he's probably watching at school. But the funny thing is, what you just mentioned there made me think, because I was talking to him about you want to be the one creating the content, not consuming the content, right? So what can you do to create something, bring value to others, help people solve a problem, you know, think differently, all that kind of stuff. And he's probably like, okay, Dad.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm sure.
So this is the way my friends communicate.
I know, it
but
is.
definitely creation and creativity, you know, for kids, that's a really wonderful thing for a community of apartments. So All right. So having fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Good show.
Always.
What do you guys think? Good show. What else could we bring to you value? Let us know who those guests are. Again, you can go to live.multifamilystudios.com and let us know who we should be interviewing. We could do Ronde interviews anywhere in the world.
They don't even have to be here in Scottsdale.
Yeah.
We can interview anybody anywhere in the world.
That's
so
right.
Please let us know.
And we're already going to Amsterdam and London for some technology stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll be bringing.
Although
it
I
to
actually wanted to go.
we're going to go. Yes.
No, like for
Right.
real. Okay. Hey, we got an invitation to Houston.
Oh, there you go.
All right.
Is that Stephanie?
We'll see you there. No,
Carol.
Carol.
Carol. All right. Hello,
Yeah.
Carol. Good to see you. Thank you for watching. Please share it and let us know what we can do to be of support. I'm really excited about our next segment, our value segment. We've got Tanner Bickelhop again in the studio. So up next will be Tanner Bickelhop. And, we're going to be talking about the 2020 trends, what he's doing to build communities, and what kind of deals he's buying, how he's thinking about the business. So let's see this first, and we'll be back with Tanner Bickelhop.
I mean, I look at it, one, I want to have the tenant experience. I mean, I'm seeing in properties now as I'm trying to buy in Nashville, Texas, Arizona. One of the first questions I'm asking now is, let me see the amount of co-signers the tenant's having, right, when I'm evaluating the property, because I feel like we're running at really high RPMs. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to buy and build communities. Everybody says that, but what we're really trying to do is we're trying to connect people where people know their neighbors. For instance, at a property last night, we had a concert. One of the guys is a kind of a famous musician. He throws a free concert, and everybody brings their people. And we have noise ordinance issues, and we kind of always are constantly asking for forgiveness. Drives the management company bonkers. But that's really what kind of leases the apartment. So when it comes to this experience, is if we can find a way where these people come, and because there's so much supply coming on the market and everybody's competing, what I'm looking at it from a revenue standpoint is, yes, occupancy is tough. You have the smartest equity, the smartest debt, everybody in the space now is highly competent, is how do we run at really high RPM? So if I can bring in this and I can offer this to a tenant to say, hey, look, you're a busy individual. This is a service that we have, and it just goes on the right side of the T chart as a benefit, as a positive, then even if I can actually probably break even, I'm doing that today because I do think we're early.
All right. Well, welcome back. We're here with Tanner. Welcome, Tanner.
Hi, guys.
You are in Scottsdale. Oh my gosh. Well, you're from Scottsdale.
Now.
Are you
Now.
from it, or are you just building a business?
No, I'm from Washington State, but this is home now.
Yeah. I think after
forever.
so many years
Yeah.
here, it's just home.
It's a sticky place to live.
It
for
sure
sure.
is.
Now, last time we sat down with you was, I think, 2017 in studio. Oh, actually, we were speaking at the summit.
Yeah.
A lot has happened since then. I'm excited to see, here we are, 2020. What are you thinking about, I guess, for
That I should have
what's
bought
next?
everything I saw in 2017.
And overpaid for it.
Oh, happily, yes. My goodness. I mean, cap rate compression, and I mean, just the amount of growth that has happened from 17 to 19 is phenomenal, and really speaks specifically in Phoenix what has happened here.
Yeah.
I think from I saw a stat the other day in 2008, Phoenix was 50th or 43rd in job growth, and last year we were number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So, yeah, and it's good. There's a diversification, now
Right.
instead of just
It used to be real estate, right? Like now I'm seeing technology from everything happening, even in the Phoenix East Valley, and
Right.
just every day there's something happening here.
Yeah, I mean, when the joke is when the state bird's the crane, that's good, but it's nice to see manufacturing jobs and.
I've seen a Katera crane downtown.
One
pretty
Camelback.
cool.
Yeah, no, that is. I'm so excited for that project.
Yeah.
You're really going to start to see massive change in a hurry.
Yeah.
So
not everybody has seen that show.
Right.
For this show, talk to me about what you're doing for One East.
Yeah, so we've been contracted as the management company. These guys they're gutting an 11-story office tower, and they're converting it to high-end residential multifamily. We believe it will be the highest end residential multifamily in Phoenix, and and we'll lay out services and amenities that Phoenix has not seen, before. And it's an amazing address, and it's just a really cool building, and we're thrilled because these guys are doing it the absolute right way, through and through.
Yeah, we've been up top.
Seen the views.
Talk about the views.
I mean, it's 360.
My goodness.
Right.
Yeah. And you get to choose, right? Your residents can kind of choose what views they want.
Yeah. I mean, every unit has a view, which is unique, and so I can argue why I like the second floor view. A little busier, but then you get up to the top floor and you can see, all the way down to Fashion Valley.
Right.
So.
Wow.
There's not a bad spot.
Yeah.
Actually.
No. So the work you're doing for Stellar, being the co-founder of that, I mean, that's got to help having someone with that deal mindset at the top of the organization, really thinking about how to create value beyond just expectations of the cap rate, right?
I mean, Stellar was formed from being an investor and then meeting Dale Phillips.
Right.
And that took a couple of years to, and more importantly, as an investor, I felt that there was, in this last growth, everybody grew so quickly, right, and grew big and heavy, and you had to keep up because it was just been crazy. And so, feeling that we could create a different level of transparency by just contracting certain pieces of the business out.
Right.
Mainly, I would say, is when there's a major disposition of, if we had 5,000 units and somebody sells. Well, we have the crew in the back end that take care of the 5,000 units. So what happens to those people? It doesn't go off just like that.
Right.
With us, it does. So we contract that stuff out. So we're able to pass that through, and so kind of that was the basis of the mindset, and then forming with Dale is just taking it kind of to the next level. So the amount of data that we're able to get, when we're buying. Getting the teams in there, the crews, and just the network of being completely vertical is a tremendous advantage.
It's interesting because, we have re-envisioned the way that we do our content and media, and now we're more like the CNBC for multifamily. And if you think about it, even like the Tonight Show, right? They're on YouTube, they're on Instagram. Like the old school way of doing things is being cut through, like it's being re-envisioned. And I'm tuning into a lot of AI, a lot of what's happening next in not just multifamily, but in the world. And they're talking about AI and all these technologies. It used to be about eating jobs. Right. But now it's eating departments. Like literally, we talked about this on other shows, like our accounting. Like we don't have, 30 accountants in a cubicle, doing reports and all these things. We actually have a service that we use, and now I've got a team of accountants for a fixed low cost, and it's like, the highest level kind of work we can get. Right. But if you started a company today, I wouldn't start it that way. That's how I would do it. Yeah. These sort of software as a service, technology as a service. We're doing trade shows as we're doing all these things as a service. So it's interesting to see you re-envisioning a management company, because that's the future of that. Is we're excited.
I mean, the bold statement is that I think eventually everyone will have to essentially kind of migrate this way to compete with us cost-wise. I mean, that's not something that, if I'm an investor in a management company, saying I'm cutting expenses is important, but it kind of puts me on my heels a little bit, right? I'd rather see revenue growth.
Rethinking about it.
So the expense is just easy to measure now is all. So we're actually we're begging for groups to say, okay, like let's measure, let's go through every line item, because every single line item we have an answer for, and we have a value proposition of why that's important. And so it's instead of just being big and heavy, which I think works in a cap rate compression, massive equity environment.
Yes.
When we get back to I guess the brass tacks of we got to go grow NOI the old-fashioned way. That's something we look forward to. So we started a company in a major growth market, which is interesting when we look back and think about it, because everyone's big, fat, happy. Like there's not a lot of need.
Yeah, why would you make a change?
And so, but we're working on some really profound projects. This is a really big year for us from the management side of where people will go, oh man, I had no idea you guys were doing that. I had no idea you guys were doing that, because we've been behind the curtain, and purposely so for a while. So the model's been proven. We've done that with our own stuff. So yeah, we just have a lot to be excited about.
Yeah, that's exciting. So tell me more about the community. You heard earlier on the show American Landmark doing some really interesting artists in residency. I know you've done some things at your communities and where you've brought in, even like you said, concerts and things like that. Do we need to be more competitive like that in the experience that we're creating?
I think it's a must. Well, right now, again, in Phoenix in particular, we have a supply shortage, which is really crazy to think, right? You drive and you see everything going, but we have a growth that we have not had. And I think everyone expects that to continue, through 2020. Election happens, everybody speculates, but my personal opinion is maybe that'll be white noise now, so it won't be as volatile as it once, was. So, guys I think you have to get more pinpoint on the amenities and the value adds that you're doing as far as bringing the community together. So for us, what we talk about is it's the manager's job, meaning, so the manager is there every day, and for any event to take place and for anything to have a runway, it has to be promoted.
Yes.
Right? So you have to get the person, you have to get the manager that is the promoter, and they have to establish that credibility throughout the community.
Yep.
And then if you do that, any event that you really do will be successful because you know your residents, they know you, and there's nothing worse than, how many of these like pool parties have we been to?
Yes.
And everybody kind of sits around awkwardly, where there's like music, like some rubber hot dogs, and like that's not successful. Nobody's meeting one another. And so one of our managers just the other day was like, hey, there's a painting class, I've been promoting it, I think I can get 35 people there. And then, okay, well, how can we even make that better? So how can we enhance that idea? Well, that's her vision, her deal. So she's creating that. The property's full. People are happy. That's the stuff I'm leaning to. Instead of, back when we were just fighting for occupancy, I would maybe throw an event down somebody's throat. Candidly, thinking like, okay, here's a concert. I love that music. I love that guy. You think it's cool. And 2/3 of the residents are like, I don't even know who that is. Right? Like, I'm not doing that. So now I think we take a little bit of a longer term approach with urgency, but we spend as the developer, owner, manager, we spend all of our time on the on-site crew of, are you buying this? Like, would you invite your friends to this?
Well, that's interesting that you say that, because we talked in a couple episodes back about the rise of the micro-influencer and how your on-site people can be these influencers for your entire community. And they can influence what's happening, like you said, at the community. They're bringing in their ideas, and they're there every day. They hear what's going on, and they hear what people want and like and enjoy.
It's hard to be a 9-to-5 manager and have, I think that's where you can add a lot of success. Our managers are on all the time. Now they're rewarded for that, and it comes in a multitude of different ways. But each community that we buy and we take, it's like you go into it and you feel like it's broken. Well, at least I do. That's why we're buying it, right? We feel like there's a massive amount to mend it, and it starts. It starts with us. And just the other day we took over a property. And Dale, he shows up in a maintenance uniform, and he is literally in people's units, picking up cigarette butts, you name it, and he's there for like 4 days, and nobody knows until he hands a card and it says something, and it has all his information, like, call me. Well, so again, that brings the new staff, the manager, the leasing, the maintenance guys, like he's doing a really good job, but that's what he's known for is leading guiding people. So that's his thing. Like he runs with it. I gravitated towards it. That's why we became partners. But then we're always constantly trying to evolve to just make everything better, and it's hard.
There's nobody better for that. And then also he's really good on the brand and marketing piece of it. But you're as high up as you can go in the journey of multifamily. But I hear it's inspiring to hear you talk, because you're talking about the things that are leading indicators to the yield, right? So talk to me a little bit more about the deals that you're looking for, that you're excited about. Are things changing?
I'm really excited.
I know it's market
Phoenix.
To market, right? But
it's I've looked. I always joke within a 2-hour plane flight of Phoenix is the market. But it's all right here. Like, everybody wants to come here. California, even like groups we're getting calls every day on the management side, but from an acquisition side of trying to buy, like,
there's plenty here. I think the demand is coming. I'm more focused on the product. I disagree with a lot of the product that's being built. I think it kind of works, and then there's enough capital that comes that make it work. But when we get down to is what's our turnover ratio, right? You start looking like, so people moved in, are they enjoying this experience? Or if I'm paying $2.20 a foot for 500 square feet,
do they
am I enjoying this? Like, how long am I staying, or am I constantly looking?
Right.
And I think there's been a lot. One of the trends I'm watching is that because the supply has been so low, specifically on the new home construction, and the affordability factor, and you have, massive amounts of people from 25 to 35 still living with their mom and their dad. So all those things I think drive that specific unit type. So I'm personally just focused on, for our stuff, garden style, just good old fashioned garden style. I'm really looking at square footage. On a building, I like something that's over 950 square feet on average. I think we're seeing people really innovative product again. On the Dale side, on the single family home rental concept, like that's
a Pebble
it's
Creek
so
thing.
hot. Yeah. I mean, every multiple times a week we have different developers groups coming in, that we're consulting with on that type of product. And so
it's impossible to find a single family rental because it's in that real estate agent marketplace where they don't follow up, and they're
right.
You got Realtor and Zillow and all the different places that syndicate MLS, but like finding, it's interesting. There's a couple of people doing that here in Phoenix. Do you know if there any other markets are experiencing that single family?
Yeah, I mean, we get the calls. The land's the problem.
Yeah.
Right, because to get that massive amount of land, you got to, okay, will this resident or tenant, will they drive an extra 5 miles or 5 minutes, to go have this type of lifestyle?
Right.
Phoenix offers that.
And the autonomous driving cars that they're building out here,
right,
and all that stuff, is eventually, yes.
Yeah.
Eventually, because you can work on the way to work.
Right.
or you don't have to go into work anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Companies are building these vertical organizations.
Yeah. So Phoenix is going to be good this year. I think we'll have rent growth again. It's the product stuff is interesting. As far as, especially if you go to like the North Scottsdale and you look at the sheer amount of units and what's being built there, and the velocity, or some of the units that have just traded and where they were at, and what the true cap rate was. Was it maybe closer to a 3, perhaps? Brokers have more buyers than they know what to do with. I want to buy. It's difficult. So I'm really looking for, where can I niche? Where can I go in and not? You're always going to compete with the capital, but right now there's so much capital that's paid to place the capital.
Yeah, there's a cost to not placing it, right?
And so we get paid to buy a good deal and make it perform. And so they'll make it perform and stuff as well. But I mean, they have a lot less criteria, if you will, just to get it in, and maybe they
all
can
goes back
overpay.
to investment objectives, right?
Yeah.
Each owner investor has different timelines, all that stuff. His hair looks great. I mean, you look happy.
I'm good.
He's got a great suit on. I mean, how do you do that? Doing multifamily, and I understand you're growing your family and all these things. So, what's the advice to do this? But I mean, because at one point you had an idea to do all this, and now looking back, you're telling us this story of all the success. I know you've exited some great deals, and at one point you were the new guy, probably at some point. Talk to us about the journey.
I still feel like the new guy. It's one day you just, probably much like this. I mean, this is quite the deal. So you just got to go, and at one point, it became evident that I felt like I knew enough, or maybe I knew more than other people, right? So when you have all these mentors, you feel like at one point, like you just you got to go and be confident on it. And so, there's a lot of pressure when you take other people's money and you're placing it. And so we've been, the multifamily stuff has been good. I'm just really confident in my team, whether it's at home, the office. I've been lucky and blessed to have really good people that are really supportive, and everybody wants to do the right thing. And so as long as we have all that, everything else has been working out.
That's good.
I think something Patrick and I have learned is just, you got to take that leap. sometimes.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
You just absolutely have to do it. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
go
our apartment
forward.
manager on one of our properties, I mean, he's going to buy a deal this year. I mean, we've been saying that for 2 years, but this year he's ready. He's been putting in offers, and we've worked through the LOIs, and and he's on site, and he's running the property. But we spend a lot of time like, I need him to become an owner. He's already there, right? He doesn't know it yet. He doesn't
Right.
feel it yet, but
Yeah.
he's actually doing the hardest part.
Yeah.
He's
the
lucky
major-
to be on your team
Absolutely.
too, because you care about that stuff, and
Yeah.
Yeah, we want them. I mean, I want them to.
yeah.
I mean, if you're running it and fixing it and handling residents, you're
Yeah.
doing the hardest part.
Yeah.
Right.
Then you just got to go put the capital in the market and
Right.
make sure your deal structured is correctly. And that's where I think, I get nervous for some guys that maybe are coming in. They're maybe not. I don't want to say it is easy to raise capital right now.
Yeah.
There's capital chasing deals, and I see deals that get funded,
Yeah.
and you go, wow. And then cap rate compressions hit and they sell, and it's like they're genius, right? But
Yes.
at some point, again, we just have to get old fashioned again of we're going to have to go
Yeah.
drive NOI.
Yeah, I get calls, and I had one. You probably were on that call, and it's like you get the call, and it's like, oh, this is my deal size, this is the whatever, and I come from a very kind of founder based, legacy, third, fourth generation billionaires that didn't raise capital. They built and held and grew and took care of people and just continually, and they didn't really grow outside of 5,000 units, 1,500 units. And so my mindset is always like operations, the people, keep it simple. And so my personal investment strategy is like, I don't want to grow to 200,000 units. That's not the life.
Right.
Like I get clear about the life I want to live, and then the decisions I make, it's like, does that support that or not?
Right.
Right. And so, but I get these calls from capital partners or whatever, and we have this capital, but I asked the question, like, what's your deal size? It's like, oh, 10 million plus, or to 60 million, and I was candid. I'm like, well, I'm really looking for like the 3 to 5 million.
Sure.
And it was like, oh, I'm going to give you to my
Yeah.
my associate rookie
Right.
or whatever.
Right.
And it was funny because here I am, I've got behind me people that are ready to do amazing things, but in his mindset it was like deal size didn't fit the structure,
Right.
the debt, whatever it was, and I'm like, he's on a call with somebody that can really unload some things for him, right? And he just didn't think like, what is the investment objective and stuff like that. So I always like to talk to people at different stages in the game, and you heard today the Pinnacle deal, the Cushman coming in and doing some fun stuff. So it's a good time to be in multifamily. Obviously, a good time to be on the show with you. Anything that we need to pay attention to here?
Yeah, we got to
in
give a shout out to E from Dallas.
E from Dallas.
At
All right.
Resman, so I have
You're
an
gonna attract
idea
some-
of who E is.
Oh, okay. Wonderful.
Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to everybody who is watching and commenting. Share it, like it.
Yeah, if you got any questions,
Shout it out.
You got any questions for Tanner, put them in the comments. We can
Yep.
get you in touch with him. Definitely want to track him. It's on tanbic.com, and all the information will be in the post. So appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank you so much,
to see you
Tanner,
guys.
for joining
Yeah,
us
thank
today.
you.
It was great having you. Thanks for making the time.
Anytime.
I know.
Anytime.
All right.
right.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. We will see you next week. Have a great week.
See you guys.